You know what this actually takes me back to?
What?
Not to segue into the content,
Why not?
but also to segue into the content.
Okay.
Like, I feel like we should name it around something like back in the day when, I mean, we still do this now, but like, we would just like record the song, bounce it down, put it on the phone, and like listen to it in the car, and like go to the gym. Something around like, something around that.
Untitled?
Oh, maybe like a rough mix. Something better.
That's kind of cool.
Like I'm thinking of like the 1975 music for cars.
What? 1975.
It's like an era. Music for cars is like it's like a similar to like their version of auditory stories, but like it's just music specifically for cars.
I kind of want it to be something book related. Like we did chapters for the podcast, auditory stories. You know what I'm saying? Something. Monologues? Monovlogs.
Something about rants.
Monovlogs. Like a monologue, but a monovlog.
It's not bad.
It's kind of cool, actually.
Technically, it's not a monologue though, because there's two of us. It's a dialogue.
Diavlog, then. Diavlogs?
I like monologue better.
Monovlogs?
Monologue.
It's kind of cool. That's kind of sick.
Yeah, do that.
Monovlogs?
Monovlogs.
M-O-N-O. And mono is like audio, too.
Yeah, monovlogs is good.
Yeah, mono vlogs. Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah, go with that.
Monovlogs.
Technically, it's not a monologue, but it's kind of a monologue when one of us is just going on a rant.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to be that specific.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's just a cool play on words, monovlogs. Damn, we came up that quick.
Yeah.
Like, I really like it, too.
It's gooch.
Monovlogs, chapters, podcasts. Hope I don't get pulled over.
For what, having your lights on?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think it's a thing.
You don't think so? An obstruction of view?
Nah.
They can pull you over for having...
Yeah, but worst case scenario, just be like, you know, sorry, we're just recording something. And you'd probably just be like, alright, just turn it off.
Is this Monovlogs? We just came up with that name. Nice! My son likes you! Hoping it would be your daughter, but okay. Can I go? Is that greed? Can't
That's
tell.
greed, it's greed.
Yeah, it's extra greed. Don't hit me from behind.
Just keeps disappearing. Like a rush. Like a rush.
Alright, what's the sauce?
I don't know. What's in your pot?
Maybe just stem off of the idea of incorporating vlogs into the mix. And my thinking behind that? No? Alright.
Yeah, you can get into it.
Well,
I feel like it's kind of meta to be doing a vlog and talking about like why you're vlogging, but yeah, you can go for it. It'll probably transcend into something else.
Well,
Hopefully.
Well, what kind of vlogs do you watch?
I mean, like I've been watching Cody Ko for a long time.
I like Cody Ko.
I think Cody Ko originally got me into like, you know, watching somebody just like record their life before it was like as popular to do it. Trying to think like who else.
It is relatively new.
I don't know. Who do you watch other than?
I watched Logan Paul. I watched.
Does that count as? Is that a vlog or is
Cody
it?
Ko?
Is it,
Yeah.
No. Logan Paul. Or is
No,
that just like, that's
his
more
is
like a
his is a
podcast?
podcast.
It's a podcast that he's also like videotaping.
Yeah. Damn, all these branches.
Yeah.
I watched Mike Malak and Lana Rhodes.
Oh, they're like boyfriend and girlfriend. Right?
Yeah. But I just experiment with a bunch. Like I watched Kylie Jenner's.
If I
Because I wanted to see, like, why are people drawn to this?
I think it starts with, honestly,
That's my interest in it.
I think it starts with, like,
Why am I
I'm
drawn to
interested in the person for, like, something else.
Mhm.
Like, all right, so Cody
Exactly.
Ko, as an example, like, I followed him on Vine, and then when Vine stopped being Vine, I started, like, you know, the only other platform then was, I think, YouTube. So then he started just, like, going to YouTube and doing, like,
I think
his
that was
comedy
most
stuff.
of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of them. I think that's probably why a lot of them are vlogging right now. The transition from, like, when Vine went away. And then, yeah. So, yeah, I like Cody. I still follow him.
And TikTok is kind of implanted itself as the Vine, I guess, for like the younger
Yeah,
generation.
TikTok's like Vine too.
I don't know. I'm not really that involved on that social media platform, but I do see its potential. And
Oh, I was always a big fan of Vine for like
Vine?
the entertainment.
oh no, I like Vine. I'm talking about
Think
TikTok.
about all the people that came out of Vine. Well, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
the reason I'm saying, like, the reason why I enjoy TikTok is because
It has a similar.
it had the similarities
Layout?
between Vine. I actually think it's a lot better than Vine just because there's more capabilities. Like, Vine was only like what 6 or 9 or 12-second.
Oh yeah, they
videos.
were really
yeah,
short.
they were really short.
I feel like they
So
were
you really
6
had
seconds.
you really had to like condense it. But like with TikTok, you can
to a
choose
minute.
to make something longer or shorter.
Yeah, it's like a more advanced version.
And the cool thing about TikTok, not that, whatever. Anyway, the cool thing about TikTok is that it builds basically your like stream of content that you see based around like what you like. So like if you like a bunch of like fitness videos, for example, you're gonna get
So it builds
you're
like
gonna
a
get
profile
fed.
for
Yeah,
you.
it builds a profile, builds like an online identity
Exactly.
based off. That's why they always say like you don't watch TikToks, but like if you do watch some TikToks, like sometimes you'll be like they'll start the video and they'll be like, if you're seeing this, that means that you're on the fitness side of TikTok, like you're on fitness TikTok, because you're only going to see videos based on like what you like.
I gotcha.
So like similar, like pretty much like my feed is going to be like a ton of fitness stuff, a lot of like music covers, like other people like covering other people's songs, and then I guess like a blend of like comedy, which are like
the
three.
algorithm at work.
Yeah, it's really cool. There's actually a really cool documentary on Netflix that you should watch.
I just kind of want to like expand the topic of this conversation
Go for it.
into, I mean, because we're talking about social media,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of goes back to like my first point of the importance of all of this is because social media, like the importance of us like vlogging and jumping into this territory as like a necessary next step to what we do, in my eyes anyway, is because social media allows for anybody who's willing to, make content. It gives them an outlet to, wow, you see all those fireflies? There's like a bunch of fireflies or something right there.
Let's see.
It gives the power into the person's hands. Like you can literally build your passion into a career through social media. Like that's never been able to be done before, like in all of human history.
Mm-hmm.
It was always dependent on some other factor, right? Look at music, for example. Like if you want to be a musician, you had to do it through a record label. Like there
Right.
was no alternative, you know what I mean?
Or like if you wanted to be
A movie star, you had to
Right.
get,
you had to get into Hollywood.
through Hollywood,
If you
exactly.
wanted to be on the Cooking Network, or if you wanted to be
Yep,
But now
exactly.
you could just basically start your own.
You could build your own
television
brand
channel.
on your own means.
I see
through
it.
your own,
Yeah, I see it as like people being like their own network. Like instead of like it
and
is,
that's the new TV.
Right.
That's what people
instead of like
like.
HBO, it's just like, which honestly
Your
a
YouTube channel.
huge predecessor
Your
in this
personality.
is Twitch TV is a
Mhm.
huge trailblazer in that category. huge advocate
People literally
for Twitch.
tune in to watch other people play video games.
It's crazy, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, even like with Dad, like with his fishing, it's like, why would you go? I mean, you brought up this point because I said cable is literally like it's literally the radio of our day, or it's on its way to
It's on its way to
because
be.
why would you tune in to cable network and wait 15 minutes in between commercials to watch something that you're, you know, told to watch? Like, you don't have the option to, like, you change between channels, I'm saying, but like you have a limited, you know, menu of what you could choose, when you could literally go into YouTube, search exactly what you want, and, you know, watch it with minimal advertisement. It's just, streaming's the new TV.
Right.
And providers or brands are recognizing that. Like, literally, like, influencers have been getting sponsorships from, like, McDonald's, Chipotle, like, the top dogs, you know what I'm saying? Like, they recognize the importance of the influence that these, you know, content creators have.
The impact is, honestly, it's bigger. Like, a really good example of this is everything that happened with like Ninja and Twitch. Like, everything that originally happened. There was a point, like, when Ninja was streaming and he, like, when he streamed with Drake,
That was iconic.
Did
you watch that live?
Yeah, it was a moment in history. It really
Yeah.
was, because there were like 50 or 60,000 people in that room watching that at one time. Now that's bigger than some football stadiums. Like, the impact and the outreach of that is on par with NFL sports. Now, when you actually take that into consideration and like you monetize that, the amount of eyeballs that were looking at that at one time, like run an ad on that, technically speaking, that's like, in that moment, it was equivalent to like the Super Bowl.
That's
I mean,
crazy.
there's probably more eyes on the Super Bowl than, you know, that. But like any given football game, any given Sunday, you know, you have 40,000 people in a stadium. I'm not even sure what the biggest stadium is. I know it's in the tens of thousands, but again, like 60,000 people watching at a given time. And think about the amount of money that funnels through a football stadium on a Sunday between concessions and all of the billboards that surround the bottom of the arena.
Sunday too.
That's just Sunday. That
Literally,
is a good point.
Twitch streamers are daily. You know what I mean? Non-stop.
Non-stop.
One of my coworkers, he's really focusing more on that end of like streaming content, which I think is great. Like, we talk about it all the time. It's just like a different avenue. Ours is more like
It's a little
vlog.
bit more difficult with music.
Yeah, streaming.
You don't see a lot
it's
of
like a
music
daily
streaming.
thing.
Yeah.
It's
I
a
agree
different
with that.
style of
You could do
creating
it,
content.
and you could be successful at it, but I don't think with what we want to do with music, it's like a huge
I like
avenue.
some sense of production. Like, even like with this, it's organic, but at the end of the day, it's going to be edited. It's going to be like the conversation, the topic, the material is organic, but I'm going to have control over it in editing, in post. That's kind of stuff I like. The kind of stuff I watch with, you know, the vloggers, podcasters, that, you know, the kind of content I consume.
There are some things that would benefit that. I think, like, in the music category, maybe like a really good, like, if you were going to be like a musician and live stream, like, kind of like when you're at like a piano bar and there's just a guy sitting there like playing music in the background, like improvisational stuff. It'd be really good for that. Like, if people just wanted to like throw on music in the background instead of just like looking up a playlist, if you want to hear someone play like live piano, you know, that's improvising at the piano, that's really good at it, that would be good. But like, for what we do,
it's a very early market that could be
so many different things.
In so many different ways.
Many different things. But there's so much value. I need to buy Twitch stock, honestly, I do. And anything that has anything to do with live streaming, honestly, what was
any kind of content creation.
I mean, even especially with Ninja being back on Twitch, there is no other competitor for Twitch, if you think about it. The one that Ninja signed to, I forget who it was.
Mixer?
Mixer, yeah. I mean, for
Facebook
I
Live?
guess for gaming,
Facebook live streaming is huge.
Instagram has live too.
YouTube is live streaming too.
But out of all those platforms, which one do you think is the
100%,
strongest? Okay,
100%.
yeah, 100%. Like, people are showing up to Twitch for live streaming. They're not necessarily getting on Facebook or Instagram for live stream. It's just an added thing that's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
I could see us potentially doing something like that.
I
Maybe
just love
in
Twitch
the
so much.
studio,
I really do.
live streaming.
Yeah, no, that could be cool.
Expanding everything that, is within our reach of Tall Taels, That is plausible anyway. Like the podcast, the vlog, a live stream. Just trying to make content out of every single thing we do. As it relates to music and, not every, hey, this is how I brush my teeth. Nobody watches that.
Right.
Well, I mean, that's not something I'd be interested in anyway.
People starting to put their Christmas lights up already.
What'd you say?
People starting to put their Christmas lights up already.
Yeah, Christmas started at Halloween for some people anyway.
2 weeks to Thanksgiving, by the way.
I know, it's crazy. This whole winter came up so fast. Like, November's almost over. I don't even know where I'm at. I'm just driving.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I'm gonna go straight.
Yeah.
But it's just amazing. And that's why I got this GoPro for Dad, because I wanted him to... I don't think our parents, or even their generation in its entirety, not understands, was given the opportunity or the chance to realize and recognize that their dreams could, and their passions didn't have to be put at the wayside, and you could actually make careers out of them.
Yeah, it's much more apparent now today than it's ever been. I mean, like you see these TikTok kids literally moving out to... Barstool did a comedy segment on the Sway House. What's it called? Is it called
Sway House? I think
Sway House.
There's a couple of...
Where they were interviewing them, and it started off the interview. The guy was just introducing it, and he was saying we live in a generation where kids are contemplating whether they should go to college or they should just move out to LA with all their friends, rent a house and then just record everything that they do.
Yeah.
Because
and why shouldn't they? When you see literally,
when you see
these kids living,
doing it, they're literally living an amazing life
beyond
their wildest dreams.
Any of our, friends or family members, or, I mean, how could you ignore the fact that is a plausible option? Not
it's
even just
so,
to a young kid, to anyone.
Face.
They're succeeding very, very well. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
People are always going to hate on. That's never going to go away. They're killing it. They're killing it, man.
And they're not even necessarily doing anything crazy.
No,
really not.
They just live in a different world. If you rewind to how this even came to be in the first place, if you look at our grandparents came from the factory mindset. You got a factory job, you could live a traditional, life with your, family. You could provide for your family if you just worked a factory job, right? That was the mindset of grandpa and grandmom, right?
Pretty much, yeah. More industrial.
Yes.
Yeah. And then...
That was the era of which they...
Right.
Now, if you take that aspect of the era and relate it to parenting, naturally, a parent always wants better for their kid, right?
Sure.
So our grandparents, coming from that manual labor mindset.
Oh, go to college.
Go to college. You don't want to work like me.
Right, you don't
use your hands all your life.
Use your mind, not your hands.
Use your mind, not your hands. Now, this obviously blends in between generations. mom and dad went to trade school, more or less, right?
More or less, yeah.
Nick, Matt, go to get a 4-year degree. You
Right.
don't go to trade school. Like, you want to just get that degree, you know?
Right.
Do you see how things have translated?
That's very good.
But
Whatever the struggle is of the parents,
Yeah.
they identify what could have been better, looking onto the horizon and looking at their environment and their surroundings, and then they advise their kids to do, yeah, that makes sense.
to be better
Right.
than them. I mean, a good parent anyway.
Right.
But this is why I'm so not against school, but like realize, what your strengths are, I guess, is because, like, yes, school makes sense if you want to become a doctor, if you want to become whatever, a lawyer. Yes, it makes sense. But the fact that it's so ingrained into the fabric of our society that a high school student is, if they want to be a good, upstanding citizen, which most people do, right? You want to do the right things, especially at that age. You're very impressionable, and you want to do the right path that you're told.
Right.
But that model of success towards success of life, it's outdated. Because guess what? You can just move out to LA with your friends.
You'd be better off to do that.
Yes.
You'd be better off to do that.
Not for everybody, but recognize what your strengths are. Like, we're content creators. We're creative people. That's
creative.
what we do.
We are wildly creative people.
If I went to school to become a lawyer, I wouldn't be doing what I'm supposed to be doing, because that's not who I am. That's not the DNA of my identity.
It's true. Right. It's a disservice to the world to not play to your strengths, honestly. Unless you don't want to. There's something to be said about you could be naturally gifted at something.
But it has to be a what's it called? A voluntary decision. That's my qualm with it all. Is that quarrel with it all. An 18-year-old kid doesn't know what he wants to do. No one knows what they want to do at that age, right?
You got to go a different direction.
Yeah, I know. No one knows what they want to do at that age, but the fact that it's so pushed upon in the mindset of a young person that you have to do that.
Right.
When you don't, because there's plenty of other options out on the market.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in today's time.
We can get into the million reasons why that exists. I mean,
in
my opinion, college is a debt trap. I don't really want to go down this rabbit hole of conversation.
I don't either.
But like, I actually do that. I believe that college is intentionally designed to create a middle class. Like, if you think about it, like if you actually think about it, like when you get out of school, most people get an entry-level job making like $40,000 or $50,000 gross annual. And that's what you've incurred in debt. Most people have incurred anywhere between like $20,000 to $30,000 in undergraduate studies. It's like high school on steroids. Like, unless you're going for like, something
that requires
specific,
education.
Like, I was pre-med route, made sense. But like for my business major friends, they literally just incurred debt to like work in sales, like, which is what I do now. Like, it would have been so much better. Like, you don't need a college degree to work in business, to work in sales. Like, it's irrelevant. It's designed that way. It's designed that way on purpose. It's designed that way on purpose so that you get debt, so that you have to go into the workforce, so that now you have to get a job, and now you're in the system, right? Because then you're going to get a car, because then you got to commute to work. And
so what this all was tying to bring it back for a second, is the whole grandparents thing, our parents thing, right?
Right.
They want a better life for their kids, okay?
Right.
In their eyes, when they're growing up, college was the means to that,
Be careful
acquisition.
about this ditch.
Yeah.
Just lean more to the left.
It was the train ride to that success. But the rules of the game have changed now, is what I was getting to.
Right.
In that your best chance of success is by doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. You don't have to go some roundabout way to get to that. You should be doing it directly and filming yourself and making content around making that passion come true. Like, anybody can turn any niche into a business by way of social media. That was the whole point. And
This would be a good music video for this song.
oh yeah, it totally would.
Fog.
What, just like this view with some fog?
Yeah.
We could easily do that. But it's just so
Silent
exciting
Hill.
to me. And to have built this skill set and have the technology, the the equipment and the tools to be able to do it. Like making Dad's fishing channel was awesome to me, because I know that these things will. Oh wow! Did you see that fall?
Yeah.
It's really come down. Conversations all over the place, but hey, organic.
Where the hell are we?
I don't know. I'm just driving. I don't know. It's just exciting, man. So many tree branches.
We actually do live out in the sticks. We
Yeah.
really do. Anytime I tell people I'm from South Jersey, they'll be like, you live out in the sticks.
Yeah, there's a lot of farms around us.
There are. It's a lot. It's a very rural area.
Man, I keep
compared
hitting
to
branches and stuff. I hope it's not messing.
Nah, you're probably fine. Just be careful when it's the side of the road and there's a ditch, because
Yeah.
it's wet. If your tire lips that, then we're going into that ditch. 100%.
Good content. Not good content.
I don't want to get stuck out in the middle of the woods in the middle of the night while it's raining until I get
Clickbait.
murdered by an axe murderer.
Dude, you wouldn't get murdered
Nope.
for content? Are you serious?
Yeah, honestly, I might.
Come
Do you
on.
remember remember that phase when people were dressing up as clowns randomly?
Yeah.
And they were just coming
I
out
think
of
that was
the woods?
last year.
I think it was 2 years ago. Remember when that was the
Is-
that was
is
the
that
weirdest thing that happened?
If that happened tonight, as we were 100% that clown is actually gonna murder us. Because it's literally raining out. Who in their right mind stands out in the middle of the woods while it's raining?
Bruh.
You gotta be out of your mind.
Bruh.
You're definitely an axe murderer.
I'm
I'm
not.
running you over.
What do you do in that situation?
I'd
alright,
step on
so
the gas.
A clown he just stops right in the middle of one of those crazy dark black roads. You're just gonna run him over?
Yeah, 100%, dude.
Bro, you can't what?
100%. Are you kidding me? What, you think I'm gonna get out of my car? Hey man, no way. I'm going.
You're just gonna ram him.
Oh yeah. And if he has any sense, if he's trying to make a joke, he'll get out of the way.
That's true. That's what
If
he's
he is-
expecting, that you're not gonna run him over. Maybe you try to back up.
Well,
then
he's
you go
dumb,
into
man.
the ditch.
We're in the
That's
middle
how
of
it
a
happens.
storm. There's no way I'm getting out of my. First of all, it's wet. I don't want to get wet. Second of all, that's how you die in any scary movie. Why are you getting out of your car? Literally just sit in your car and lock the door. And you're good.
That would scare the shit out of me, honestly. Oh, we're at Smithville. I know where we are.
Oh, O'Connor's, yeah.
Yeah, you know where we are, right?
I know, right? Yeah.
All right, cool.
It usually turns out that
Was
way.
a dark and
I just-
stormy night.
I just keep making turns and eventually. Long rant.
Was a dark and stormy
Classic me talking about school.
night. You hate school, dude?
I don't hate school. I don't.
No, let me backtrack.
You know,
No.
you know what it comes back to? It's the same, what we were talking about earlier with the tattoo.
Sure. I mean,
I don't think I made
I'm
a
in
wrong
agreement.
decision, you know?
No.
And I don't like that stigma that society puts on it.
Bro, honestly, it is what it is.
It is always what it is.
But honestly, think about it like from my perspective, like
What, at the time or right now?
no, I'm just saying like I went to school. I don't even use my degree or any of the knowledge that I have for anything. It's like, why did I even go? But it's perspective too. Like it's really just like, how they say like people like go to school to like pay for the experience. I'm not really thinking about that so much. I'm just thinking about like my personal journey and having gone against my own grain.
Yeah.
And doing something that I didn't necessarily want to do. Like I learned valuable lessons about myself.
100%. So
That's what I learned.
I wouldn't even trade in my experience.
Yeah, and like you ultimately you can learn it via either avenue. One's a little bit less expensive than the other. So ultimately I think that you probably made the better decision. If I were going to go back and do something differently, like
no way. How do you
maybe
figure?
because you saved money.
Did I though?
All right, the only way your decision would have been a little bit better is if you didn't go at all to begin with.
Yeah.
Then perfect decision. But like, I mean, you cut bait as quickly as you could.
I don't think I'd be who I am. There's no mistakes.
No, I feel the same way. There are no mistakes. It's literally just lessons. Because I could be like, yo, like.
I don't know if I would have as much.
Right. I wouldn't
gusto
have my
and drive and
perspective.
passion that I do now. I really don't. I don't think I would.
I wouldn't have my mindset, the way that I think about music, like analytically, the way I approach writing. So much of that came out of being in a place where I wanted to do it so badly. And I was doing other things that I didn't want to do because I felt like I had to. It was 100% in my own mind, but sort of that tension creates diamonds. It does. Like it's what you went through, what I went through are similar on a thematic level. The experiences are different, but like ultimately when you're denied something that you want for such a long period of time, your desire to want it just grows and grows and grows and grows and grows. And it being withheld from you is what creates that drive in you. And it actually does
creates
help
that diamond.
Yeah, it helps to perfect your craft. Like I would not be as good of a writer if I went to school for writing, or maybe if I had every day to
that's
just
a statement. You
spend.
think?
I think so. Yeah, because being denied and those little moments that I had with myself, where I was sneaking in that moment when lyrics would come into my brain, and maybe I was in the library and I was studying for an exam that felt like it was life or death if I passed it and I needed to get this A, but I was still like making time to write these songs that were completely irrelevant to this track that I was on. It speaks to the level of love that I had for it. And like that just, I think that, yeah, when something is withheld from you, it's almost an advantage. I mean, it's just one way to look at it, and you might as well look at the glass as half full as opposed to half empty. You could be like, oh, I could have written so much more.
If someone's holding something above your head, it only makes you grow taller.
Right, you're gonna develop this.
That analogy has never been used before for a good reason, because it stunk.
No, but you're gonna develop the skills to be able to jump to get the carrot.
Ooh, all right, that's a better
Then
version of what I was trying to say.
You're gonna do squats every day until you develop the leg strength so that you can jump high enough to get it. That's what it is, and I think that that's in the strife and the buildup and the waiting so long and it feeling like it was distant, and to be at the point now, and like we even take it for granted now, the ability to create music is so embedded into our lives now that it's like, dude, to have come from a place where like I never would have imagined that we would create music at the level and the capacity that we do. Like I'm humbled by that.
I didn't even know the difference between mono and stereo.
Like, dude, it's fucking
the very
crazy.
beginning.
But that's the journey and that's the path, and it's hard to say like, it's easier to say like love the journey now because you have some resources. You have tools on your tool belt.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, when you have absolutely nothing except this just vision of yourself in your head of what you want to be, that's where flames can get extinguished when they're small, or maybe they're just smoldering coals. But now you got a decent sized flame. It's easy to envision it as a full bonfire.
Now I want to ask you a question. I want to stem off that.
Yeah, go.
So you have that fire, right?
Yeah.
That you're talking about. What happens when eventually, when we maintain the level of content and consistency that we're doing, that everything we talk about and dream about actually is attained. Do we still have that fire?
100%.
Does that fire...
And you know where that comes from?
Does the kindling for that fire, does that change? Is that what keeps the fire going? Because
it probably
idea of
changes.
success and our idea of what gets us going is constantly evolving with where we're at in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Listen, it's honestly, the metaphor that I'm thinking of is you're surviving in the woods, right? And when you start off, all you have is smoldering coals, right? In the beginning, it's really, really hard. And like, you feel like you might die. But then you get a little fire burning, right? And you catch, like, I don't know, your first rabbit or something. And then that first meal, you're like, wow, like I can do this. And then it's a routine. And then you got a medium-sized flame. And then you're upgrading, right? Like the game gets bigger. Or the game that you catch gets bigger. Maybe your fire just gets bigger. But the hardest part was the beginning.
Was getting the spark.
Was getting the spark. That's the hardest part, right? Like, if you can survive that, you can survive anything. That's where dreams are extinguished. Not now when you have the ability to create. Like, you survived off of nothing. Like, how many people have an idea in their head and never get started because they're afraid of like what their friends might say about them on the internet? Like, we got past that phase. Like, I think that the game changes, but ultimately, the rush for me is always still just like creating the perfect song. Like, it's like someone I have a tool bench in front of me.
So it's rooted in the music.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a tool bench in front of me, and every time we make a song, it's like walking into the garage and there's different raw materials on the table. It's like, what are you gonna make with these raw materials? Something could be made with this. A table, a desk, I don't know, a drawer, whatever. I'm really on this carpenter analogy. But like, the thrill is...
You lost in the woods, dude?
Lost in the woods. Carpenter analogy. Jesus was a carpenter. I don't know. No, but the thrill is the chase of creating something that's right there on the edge of imagination. Something that never existed before.
Does the chase ever go away?
I don't
Or
think
it just
so.
constantly evolves? The parameters are just constantly extended.
John Mayer talked about this. I think that for creative people, that definitely for us, like, part of it is riding the high of something that is a little bit
Elusive?
Elusive. It's sort of not within your ability to control. It's sort of like beamed into your head, like inspiration or whatever. Yeah. Part of it, you have control. Oh, damn. I was about to get good, too.
I mean, that was a lot.
It's a shame.